this would be a huge stop for this Longmont defense with their backs against the wall. Gallatin over the middle. It's caught for a touchdown. The senior James Staugen. Hi, and welcome back to ISPN.TV, where we break down our latest top 10s. Along with Marty Cesario, I'm Brian Roth. Happy to have everybody back online with us here. Before we get to those top 10s, another one of the highlights of our season this past weekend. We were down in Pueblo for the Cannon game. Of course, we were down for the Bell game a couple of weeks ago, down for the Cannon game this past Friday night. Tickets were sold out by 2:30 in the afternoon, over 15,000 people there. Pueblo South taking on Pueblo East for the 53rd time, and Pueblo South looked pretty good and winning for the 15th consecutive time over Pueblo East. So South and head coach Ryan Goddard, they get their second win of the season. But again, Marty, we did the Bell game 2 weeks ago. You've done the Cannon game several times. If you love high school football here in the state of Colorado, do yourself a favor. Next year, you get down to Pueblo and you take in either a Bell game or you take in a Cannon game. It's certainly something special to be a part of. Okay, let's get into the top 10s, and we start with Class 5A. As we take our first look, not a lot of change. Up, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Nobody losing, but Marty, we get a little bit of change towards the bottom as Highlands Ranch knocks off Thunder Ridge. They are out. That means we have a newcomer here this week.
As you look at the top 10 here in 5A, this was the big test for Grand Junction. They had to take on Montrose, which is real strong, and in 4A got challenged. They were even at the half, but then all of a sudden, you know, the Tigers just burst ahead, ended up with 530-plus yards rushing. Jerry and Dennis had 250, Rubalcabra with 180, you know, so they'll be pretty good. They got Fruita Monument coming up, but they should be clean going into the playoff season here. Mullen Mustangs, a couple of tests coming up with Arapahoe and Columbine. Pomona Panthers clicking, 48-14 win over Fairview. Dylan Carter, I mean, we enjoyed watching him. 4 TDs, 2 field goals, 6 PATs, 36 of the 48 points. They have RV coming up, Ralston Valley, so there's the big test for both of those squads as you look at the top 10. I like Grandview playing their defense, you know, for Coach John Schultz, Keith Childs, Taylor Schultz, you know, 5 sacks, an interception, a fumble recovery over Cherokee Trail, and those Rebels from Columbine, 4 TDs from the McDonald's brothers. And at the bottom, you mentioned, we got a couple of newcomers. Horizon entered last week. Coach Ibarra says, you know, he's got the best defense that he's ever had at Horizon High School, and then a nice little 2-back attack as far as the ground game goes, and then Lakewood is kind of a nice story. Tigers, you're in. We did a volleyball game this past week, and all of a sudden I get tracked down by a couple of defensive linemen. Luke Nico is politicking me, and you know, he has some credibility and some validation. Hey, his squad had only lost once, and I said, hey, here's the deal. If you beat East, that's the big one within your league, we'll start thinking about a couple other things need to happen. Well, those things happen, and so Coach Robinson, Luke Nico, all your boys, look, Lakewood is in. You beat East, and we know about your defense. You got 4 shutouts, including 1 over South. You guys are officially in our top 10.
Well, I don't want people to start thinking if they grease us a little bit, they're going to get in the top 10. You have to earn it, too. And
right.
They've done that. They hammered a pretty good East squad there. And, you know, they most likely are going to finish the season at 8-1. That's what happened to Lakewood last year. It's now time for Mark Robinson's team to make a little bit of hay in the playoffs. They have some good athletes on that team. They're pretty big up front. So congratulations to Lakewood as they enter our top 10s. On to Class 4A, and there was some more movement in Class 4A. Of course, the big matchup here from the past week. Valor Christian, #1 in the state, taking on Castleview, and woof. Valor rolls again, and it just goes to further point out that Valor Christian probably will not be challenged this year.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. And, you know, always there could be some things happen that'll make perhaps a different outcome or a little bit more competition in there. But certainly the Valor Christian Eagles are amazing. They're ranked top 10 in the nation right now in classification 4A. They took on that Castleview SaberCats squad, which we had been hyping up with their big O-line and their nice run game. But Valor put 55 on them, and, you know, hey, Castleview is still really good. It's just Valor is that much better.
Yeah, I have not seen Castleview, Marty. I know you haven't here this year, but talking to coaches around the state about Castleview, everybody says they're legit. They're big up front. They have some athletes, yet Valor goes out and does what they did. So again, Valor looks to be well on their way to a 3rd straight state championship, 2nd straight in 4A. We had a pretty good 4A game here from this past weekend as well. We had Longmont and Greeley West up at District 6 Stadium. What a thriller that was. The best game that we have televised here in the 2011 high school football season.
All the drama you would want to have when you attend a football game. You know, Longmont started so strong, 2 touchdowns up with 14-0 lead in the first, and then Greeley West, Coach Rogi's squad, nice perseverance there, came back, ended up being 13 points ahead, and within the last 5 minutes of that football game, the Trojans, where, you know, we were thinking, they're about to take their first loss. Trojans score 2 touchdowns. Wetterstrom scores 1, and then, you know, within the last minute of the game, hits Cogdill, Josh Cogdill, with that touchdown pass for 59 yards. And then just what a beautiful moment to see. They went for 2. They made the decisions on the sidelines. We're going to go for the win, not the tie, no overtime. Went for 2, and then you see, just imagine the visual. Wetterstrom goes left side. Everybody's in front of him. He makes the leap over the top and then reaches over for the score and the win.
That's a tough loss for Mark Rogi and Greeley West to take. That's a good football team. They're sitting at 4-3. They have to win out to have a chance at the playoffs. They have a chance to go 7-3. That should put them into the playoffs, and they're probably going to get a number 12, 13, 14 type seed. That's going to be a tough matchup for somebody in the first round if, in fact, Greeley West does make it into the playoffs. Nobody wants to see them in the first round. As we take a look at the 4A bracket, or I should say 4A top 10 once again, there was some movement, obviously, as Castleville only dropped them 1 spot. And I know they got thumped pretty good. We still think Castleview is a good team. Broomfield jumps them. We could not put Wheat Ridge in front of Castleville. Just felt we couldn't do it. Castleview beat them head-to-head. Castleview with just the 1 loss. Montrose, Marty, we kept in the top 10. They played Grand Junction tight for a half. Cheyenne Mountain stays in there. And Whitefield is our newcomer here in this week.
Well, you got a couple of the pedigree programs in Broomfield. Look at them. Took an early loss, and now they're just, you know, clicking. Coach Davies and his squad moving up. Wheat Ridge, head-to-head, well, that's the ultimate litmus test, right? Lost to Castleview. You stay behind them, but Coach Call and Nick Swanson, those guys are blasting people. We'll know more when they get their final Mountain Plains Conference battle, the finale against the Monarch Coyotes. Cheyenne Mountain, congratulations. You're still undefeated, but here come your tests within the foothills against Mesa Ridge and Widefield. And speaking of Widefield Gladiators, congratulations. You're now in our top 10. You got just 1 loss to an undefeated club in Kansas City. You got 6 wins in a row right now, and you know what? You got Sand Creek coming up, and then there's that finale in your league against Cheyenne Mountain. So good luck to the Indians and also to the Gladiators as they head into that finale coming up in a couple of weeks.
It's hard to believe, but we're getting close to the 4A and the 5A playoffs. Of course, the 5A playoffs come 1 week earlier, and well, it should be a fun November in both of the 2 classifications. That'll do it as we release our latest look at the 4A and 5A top 10. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week right here on ISPN.TV.